these numbers, we start with staggeringly high numbers. For a 3-month period, over 6,800 people have been murdered in the country. That's just between October and December last year. Police Minister Bheki Cele briefed the media today on the latest crime stats, indicating that violent crimes against women and children remain a big concern, and murder and car hijackings are on the increase. Our reporter Ronald Masinda has been following those numbers and joins us now. Ronald, if you break that down to a daily average of murders, that 3-month period, October to December last year, we're looking at 75 murders a day. That is staggeringly high.
Yes, it is astonishing, Sally. That's 6,859 people murdered during the third quarter. This is an increase of around 8.9%. Attempted murders are also on the rise at 3.5%. But what is even more astonishing, Sally, is that the murder rate has been on the rise for over the past 5 years during this busy period of the year between October and December. And if there were any positives to the murder rate, to the murders that were announced today, is that the traditional home, a place that has been called the murder capital, eNCA, is now sitting on 15th on the list in terms of police stations that have reported murders. And this has been lauded to the work that has been done in the Western Cape. But the concerns are in areas such as KwaZulu-Natal, where Inanda rates number 1, the police station with the highest reported murder rates, followed by Delft in the Western Cape and Umlazi. And having spoken to the police minister, he also made mention that one of the biggest problems that police are facing with is fighting crime in densely populated areas, informal settlements, where police are unable to go and solve murders and crimes in those areas quickly and effectively. And one of the other big concerns is that most of the murders are committed in areas, public spaces, where people cause crime in broad daylight, in full view of witnesses, but people are too scared to speak out or point out these criminals. So the police are really grappling with a lot following the announcement of the third quarter crime stats. Let's take a listen to what Cele had to say further.
562 more people were killed in South Africa between October and December compared to the same period in 2020. Out of 6,859 people killed in the country, 902 of them were women and 352 were children. 232 of the overall murders were as a result of domestic violence. 27 SAPS officers were killed on and off duty during this time. The Northwest Province recorded the highest increase of murder cases, up by 24.3% when compared to the corresponding period in the previous financial year. Fewer people were killed in the Free State and Western Cape provinces in the last 3 months of 2021. Both of these provinces recorded a decrease in their murder figures. A double digit of 21.1% decline in murder cases was recorded in Free State, and this is most welcome.
Ronald, turning to sexual offences, I mean, tragically, South Africa is often referred to as the rape capital of the world. There has been a decrease, I think, of 9% of reported sexual offences. Again, though, the numbers are still horribly high, over 11,000, I think, reported rapes in just one 3-month period. What did the minister say?
So sexual offences have declined to around 13%, with rape cases also declining to around 7%. But as you rightly mentioned, Sally, over 11,000 cases have been reported during this period, which is astonishingly high. And having also listened into the Portfolio Committee meeting this morning, they were reporting around 123 rapes on average per day in South Africa during this period, which is alarmingly high. And that's for that reason why the minister has said that he's made this a top priority. There are a number of initiatives that the SAPS will be focusing on in order to try and curb gender-based violence, and also children who are the most vulnerable, because during those announcement of the crime stats, over 900 women have also been killed, with over 300 children also have been killed, to that number of 6,859, which is a major cause for concern. But also the minister also alluding to one of the other concerns where he felt that in many instances some sexual assault cases have been dropped as family members may have made an about turn, saying that they were lying about this and that this didn't happen. And in some cases these issues are actually resolved at home, sometimes even traditional ceremonies where people are cleansed for their crimes. So the police cannot have any control with regards to this, but he has encouraged that also police must be sensitive to such cases, because in many instances when people report cases such as sexual assault or rape, they usually turned away, especially in the townships. Cele had this to say with regards to gender-based violence and femicide.
The GBV and femicide remains a priority crime of the SAPS. I again call all SAPS members to continue to improve their responses and service delivery to victims and survivors of GBV at station level. Dedicated GBVF desks are now available at 381 police stations across the country. The establishment of the GBF desk will be finalized at the end of March this year, which means every police station in the country, more than 1,000 of them, will have this desk. 91,489 police officers have been trained in victim empowerment, domestic violence, sexual offences related programs. This will ensure victim-centered service is provided by officers at police stations. Focused policing has been our biggest arsenal for the SAPS against this scourge. Through our 185 FCS units, including 9 serious electronic crime investigation units, detectives are solidly focusing their efforts and expertise in investigating crime against women and children. The FCS has handed down 272 life sentences for crimes committed against women and children since April. That is less than a year.
And of course, Ronald, all efforts have to go to looking at the right sort of interventions, which is why we get these crime stats, to know where to target our anti-crime efforts. But one of the side issues that there's great concern about, that is actually impacting how the police are able to do their work, is this trouble at the top. It's well known that there's not much love lost between the Police Minister Bheki Cele and Kehla Sitole, the Police Commissioner. And in fact, at the SONA debate on Monday, the Police Minister accused EFF leader Julius Malema and Kehla Sitole of conspiring against him. He later retracted that, but he did initially say that he was going to announce that without the parliamentary privilege today at the crime stats. So what did he say about that particular issue?
Well, certainly we know that tensions have been brewing for a while, but Bheki Cele played down these, saying that they are just mere speculations, that you will have these differences with the National Police Commissioner, like any other person in any relationship. But what we've heard this week, he made that announcement during the SONA debate, and that he would come out with more information today, and he just played it down. So too did Kehla Sitole. But we've heard that for a while now they haven't been seeing eye to eye. We also heard from the South African Police Union saying that, or making claims rather, that the police minister has been interfering with the work of the National Police Commissioner. But both men are simply playing down these as claims, and they say that all they're looking forward to is doing their best efforts in order for police to work effectively. They are saying that they have to lead by example, as more recruits, as the police are expecting around 12,000 new recruits to the force, so they need to lead by example as leaders. This is what they had to say earlier when we spoke to them.
To me, from a career corps perspective, he always remains the minister, no matter what he says and what he do. And from a discipline's point of view, I can never disrespect him. But if I fear to tell him the truth, then I will be doing an injustice to the country, because it's also my responsibility to give operational advice to him, to say, this is where SAPS must go. And again, it is also equally my responsibility to defend SAPS' interest and make sure that the organization is decontaminated and it serves the interest of the country. So I think the minister has explained it. I also don't remember us having a showdown. And it will also be irresponsible of me to exchange words with the minister. We've never.
Dare I say it, Ronald, his body language looked somewhat embattled. I think there's a lot more to come out of this. And let's not forget that the report into government's response to the July unrest last year pointed directly at the antipathy between these two men as getting in the way of making decisions, quick decisions that were needed within the police at that time. Thank you so much for bringing us all that news, important information, disheartening information, but important nonetheless. Ronald Masinda in Cape Town.